see the way they hate. And I know better than to listen to people who are calling us names. I can feel the sunlight shining.
Well, good evening, everyone. I'm Brian, and that's Josh, and tonight is Thursday, May 11th, 2023, and this is another episode of Lots to Talk About, but it's also this week's episode of Lightning for Liberty. So I was running shy on some guests. I got behind in bookings and recordings, and Josh and Kyle, the Backwoods Butcher, Tim helped me out a couple weeks here where I had some voids, and I said, hey, I got an opening. Do you want to just bump Lightning for Liberty over to Lots to Talk About, and we'll have lots to talk about Nostr, which has a lot to do with Lightning. So I think it is relevant for sure. And you thought it was a decent idea, so here we are. So lots to talk about Nostr. Hey, Josh, how's it going?
Hey, man. Well, it worked great, too, because Tuesday, neither of us really realized it was Tuesday. It was like 3 hours before we would have done the show. We're like, should we do something for Lightning for Liberty? We're not prepared. Let's just go Thursday. Let's go Thursday, man. It works. It feels
well, and I am wholly prepared tonight, man. I am wholly prepared.
Totally. Well, we can always just spitball and talk about this shit, but I was like, I completely forgot. Shit.
Yeah, we're talking Nostr, and we're talking from experience because we're pretty heavy into it. You a lot more tinkering with little side projects and stuff. Me on the marketing side of it. It was after the show last week that I got the word that Fat Nugs was going to let me
that's right.
trial out a Nostr profile for him. So
yeah,
I wasn't able to do it. It's going. It's picking up a little bit in the last few days. I had some issues. I tried some stuff, and I had some backfires on some things I set up.
A hard time with the scheduling thing. So
yeah, the scheduler, I dumped a bunch of time into it, and it flaked on me, and I don't know if it was like the cache in my browser or what it was.
Yeah, it's weird. I'm gonna have to.
But I scheduled a week.
Have you tried it again since?
I haven't yet.
Okay. Yeah. A little sour.
I got busy after that. Like I allotted my week's worth of posting time to sit down and block out a whole week. And that entailed X amount of photo posts, X amount of link posts, X amount of everything. Right. And I blocked it all out. I put it in a spreadsheet and I scheduled it all for the week.
So you did all that and it didn't work and you were just like, fuck it.
Well, no, I mean, I still have all the content, but I don't have a tracker. And I'm waiting for them all to appear at some point. That's the other thing. I don't want to double posting everything.
It could be that they just didn't sign for some reason. And I kind of like want to see what I'm curious how you did it. Or it could just,
I'm very curious why
I have fucked up. I'm pretty sure there may be some memes that are appearing like it's AM and it's by the date, so it could be in the past. So if you go back to past me, you might see my shit pop up on Nostr. Who knows? We'll see. But I can tell you for sure, I didn't go through and like do a count and evaluate, but I'm pretty sure everything that I posted at the right time to go up went up during the Zapathon. It just went down.
Well, it went off without a hitch, and that's what it was. I didn't just jump in and do this for a whole week. We tested it out. We messed around with it. We did some Zapathons with it. We did it on, every 10 minutes. Then we did it every 4 minutes. Then we tried it every minute, and it was working fine. So I felt confident enough to go through and do it for legit. It was every 2 hours.
Is it
24 hours?
How you signed in and signed it because you're doing it on a different account, aren't you? I didn't think about that.
I have them in 2 different browsers.
Okay. Well, it makes sense. I wonder if it's one browser, if it's an issue with that browser that's got you hung up.
Yeah, I mean, it could be. I might have to download a different browser. I might go all the way through with my phone now because I started dicking around with what you were talking about with Kiwi.
That's something we should talk about a little bit too, because I know that's fairly new. I suppose we probably ought to back up because a lot of people probably think we're talking Greek and has no idea what Nostr is. Maybe they've signed in. They just kind of logged into this and they're like, everybody's been talking about Nostr. What the fuck's going on? And these guys are scary.
Yeah. We kind of jumped right into it, but whoops.
Oh, there's Dixon says, yeah, what's up, Nostr nerds? Yeah, I know.
For sure.
Like Nostr nerds. We've been diving into it hard, just finding, we always try to get into a new tech, and then we find all the new edgy, oddball, weird things within this fringe tech of ways we can manipulate it and find ways to make it better and work best for marketing stuff or whatever we're doing. But Nostr is basically a big decentralized protocol. It's not a platform. It is a way for programs to speak to each other on the internet, for a user profile to be created, sort of like Bitcoin, but you've got a private key and you've got a public key. You have a public facing identity, which is a long string of numbers that nobody can really fake because it is associated with your private key, which is the only way to log in. It's like username, password, kind of. So you can put that in any Nostr client, and suddenly you're connected with the network. Now, your experience, what you see, how it interacts, what it allows you to do may be different. And that's the cool thing, because all these developers are going through and building different things. This is their idea of what they think this should be able to do, or I'm adding this functionality. I think this would work. There's like competition in it, and it's open source. There's no real censoring. Some clients allow spam blocking, or you can block people or whatnot. Some don't. Some allow you to request to delete something. Some don't. And all the stuff is passed along relays. So it works more distributed, pretty much like a mesh network Bitcoin.
Just be warned at this point in this description, just be warned. If you go on there, you will probably see a penis.
It's entirely possible, and you're going to have to take it upon yourself to block that.
It's self-censoring, so just be prepared. It
could happen. I have thankfully not seen any penises because I don't follow the people that Brian does. But
no, I mean it was on Grow Nostr, so I mean I follow the hashtag and the shit pops up. So
I thankfully did not see that one. But yeah, you're right. No, you're going to see some nudity. It's possible. And you're going to see some things. You're probably going to be exposed to things on the internet that people say that you don't like.
Oh,
and
yeah.
You won't be able to go hide somewhere else. We had this discussion, me and Brian, privately recently about another echo chamber that had gone on.
Okay, and I brought that up. That up when I told him I've saved that because I was talking with a developer from another platform that we may or may not have used.
I'm just reading comments. I'm sorry, but go ahead.
Yeah, so I do follow Kyle's dad on all socials. So I was talking to a developer from another platform that we may or may not use and may or may not like anymore. You can figure out what it is if you want or not. I'm not going to name who it was, but we were having a private discussion, and they were interested in if the community would be receptive to the same type of free speech platform. And I said, dude, it's already there. You don't need to build it. You need to build something on the Nostr protocol. And he
platforms are of the past. That's the problem. That's the issue.
He was fighting back and this and that. And so my final reply to him, I said, dude, you need to check this out. And you need to try to wrap your head around the whole thing. The Nostr protocol is true anarchy. It's an agora of possibilities to be developed upon and utilized however the end user sees fit. Build a better GUI and I use you. Build a better paid private relay with a curated content I want, and I'm going to pay you for it. My keys take me everywhere and anywhere within the environment. Nazis to Buddhists, statists to anarchists, we will all find our place as it becomes available when it's requested.
Exactly. That's what it is. There is no way. I mean, we all want to have a place that we can go and be, hey, let's be free and we can talk as we want. We can all be, it's all anarchy and whatnot. Nobody's going to censor us and we're allowed to actually be real humans. That's great. But you're never going to find that on a platform where a central person controls it. Because as much as we'd love to, we've seen this model play out over and over again throughout history between governments, between big corporations, everything like that. When you centralize enough, corruption occurs. So the only way to eliminate that and know that things are actually free is to take the power away from everybody and give the power to the individual user. So if you don't like this protocol, you don't like that relay, you don't like what this dude's doing, and guess what? There's shit goes on in Nostr now that I don't like that particular guy and the way that he looks at shit. I can go use other people's stuff. I can still communicate with all of my people. I am not restricted with who I communicate to because it's my choice.
The biggest thing is I am building something there that I can take to any of these clients. You're saying if you don't like it anymore, you can move to a different client. You can move to a different. You can move to a different environment.
But I don't have to start over.
I'm not starting over. It's all there.
Because if Instagram sucks and I leave Instagram and I go over to Float or I go over to Gap or I go over to Telegram, I have to start from zero minus whoever else I convinced to follow me over, and they had decided, okay, we're going to go do that. Here, if I build something, the only way I lose followers is if I'm an idiot and they stop following me.
Yeah.
That's it. I don't need to go find cool things to follow. It's already there. Now, the experience that I have to interact with those can
the best part is the followers don't even fucking matter.
Right.
So I'm doing a little experiment. So I started posting all my episodes every morning. I do a blog post now instead of just posting the link to the audio file. So I started sharing that on all my social medias, and I started putting in there, hey, help me do an experiment. Just share this or retweet it or boost it or whatever it is on whatever platform you're looking at this. And I want to see where I get the most interaction. So I have the least amount of followers on all platforms is on Nostr right now. Okay. I get twice the interaction from my highest on any other social platform. As far as it's people willing to hit share. It's people willing to hit fucking share.
Right. Because they're interested, because they like the content, because they want to see more of it. People are actually engaged. And that's the difference too. Every other platform right now has an algorithm that controls what you want to see. Now, there are talk of algorithms coming to Nostr in that you could voluntarily sign up for, I want to partake in this algorithm. I want to partake in this list. I would like to partake in this filter. But you'll have a choice in what algorithms you want to use and whether or not you do want to use them. You don't get a choice when you go on the Facebook. They show you what they want to show you, and it's going to come down to what's most profitable for them or what provides the most interaction that fits their model. You're not the prime consideration.
Well, and here's the thing. Like, you could legit. So I threw an idea. We were joking about it yesterday. So there's people out there that are developing shit like on fire. These guys that are doing these clients, they're active on the platforms. They're asking for feedback. They're releasing shit like daily. And then there's other devs that are just doing like side projects because they're crazy.
Yeah, right, exactly. The crazy Pablo, I love giving him random ideas, and then both Will and freaking Vitor, which are the guys who make Damus the main iPhone freaking client, and Amethyst for our Android. I had personal conversations with both of them this morning on Nostr. You don't get that anywhere else. I don't even use an iPhone, and this guy knows me on a first name basis.
Well, you're not talking to fucking Zuckerfuck and asking him, well, what are you thinking about doing next on Facebook? I'm thinking that the like button and the share button are on the wrong sides. What do you think about that? Zuckerfuck says, what? Go screw yourself. Will says, you know what? That actually fucking makes sense. And later that afternoon, it's flip-flopped.
Right. No, it was like earlier. I was just like, oh, hey, by the way, I grabbed your latest update there, Vitor, on Amethyst. Just so you know, the new Tor integration, so I can do this all anonymously, is cool as shit. But all of the imaging posting is broken currently on this. And he goes, is it broken when it's Tor's on or off? And I'm like, it's broken both ways. I tried that, but just wanted to let you know I uploaded it the old-fashioned way. It works. And he's like, okay, it'll be fixed in the next release. Yeah, like that's actively being developed and worked on right now. And we actually, instead of being, I submit a support ticket and all this bullshit.
what I was getting at with that though is if you get on there and you just post an idea, say, hey, I want something to run to where in the morning I see this type of content, in the afternoon I see this type of content, in the evening I see this type of content.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, even if you don't want to put up a bounty, you put up a bounty, it'll probably be done immediately. But, you know, even if you don't, somebody might just go, that sounds like a fun fucking project for a Tuesday night.
I can figure out a way to make a scheduler for your feed that only shows you certain hashtags when you schedule them. That's easy enough to do.
Right.
And somebody's just going to go do it because they can. I have ideas in my head constantly of, I'm like, I think this would be awesome and I know it would work. I just don't know how to connect the dots to make it work. But I can probably find the dude who knows how to do that and convince him it's a good idea. That's all it takes. And you can't get that anywhere else, you know?
You
the
plant
trick is just knowing how to explain it to them.
You plant those seeds and you're surprised what happens. So, but so anyway, what have you been digging into lately? This morning you sent me a screenshot of my show with the ability to be zapped in it. I was like, dude, where'd you grab that screenshot? It doesn't look familiar.
Just some shit I was making. You know, I was sitting there thinking yesterday, I'm like, it just sucks because I mean, I'm on the road to not even where you're at with the show being able to go monetized. And I'm somewhere south of 500 right now. So I'm not even quite halfway there. And I'm like, but I'm working my way up there. And of course I want to grow the YouTube followers, but I'm working my way up there just so I can monetize and they can take 55%. I was like, we have the ability right now to just zap. I wish we could just live stream this shit straight on Nostr. We're just not there yet. It will come. But I was like, what if I could wrap Nostr features around a live stream? And I was like, well, it's like iframes. It's basic website shit. That's what I know a little bit, enough to at least dip my toe in the water. So I started playing with that because I was playing with some other stuff similar to it a while back, trying to add text chat to the Nostr nests and with limited success. So I was like, what if I just had like a row of buttons down here? So I started playing with that. And first of all, the zap feature is not easy. Well, I can't just put it on YouTube, but I could give you a link that shows YouTube in one screen and shows this other shit on another screen. That's what I'm trying to do. The zap feature, I've already figured out a while back how to make a button you can click and it pops up with like Albi and lets you pay for it. And it would work on mobile. So I'm like taking the old itty bitty tipping like tech and trying to put it towards Nostr. So I had the zap. I had some other stuff down there, like finding your link on Nostr, ways for people to click and follow you. And I'm like, if we could put this together and frame a video and be able to do this for every content creator that wanted to use it, it'd be cool. I mean, I could just like figure out a way to like port the code out and be like, here, you just have to put your own shit in it.
You could finally be a cool guy.
You know, that's why I'm doing it, really. Just it's all for the zaps.
It's not for the money. It's for the fame.
No, it's just I get the idea in my head. I'm like, I wonder if it would work. Well, and then it sucked because I started on that road yesterday, which is what I sent you initially. And then the link that I sent you later on last night, I know you and Kori went out, so you were you probably haven't explored that side of it yet.
Not really.
I was like, what if I could just do this from my side of things instead of just for like the user? I'm like, just for me and my Nostr experience. So like kind of what I sent you was like that. So, you know, you go on the itty bitty tips thing and it has that cool background with like the floating stars and shit. I figured out that most of the web clients I could put that shit on them too.
Oh, nice.
It's a CSS thing, but I changed all the buttons on the bottom to be stuff for like just Nostr navigation. So I can pull it up and I can just click on my website or my web browser and be like, I want to see Snort. I want to see Primal. I want to see Iris. I want to have a pop-up that lets me schedule posts. It's just like a pop-up window over. I want a pop-up that I can do all these other little things, you know? So between pop-ups and like just leaving that browser thing on the bottom, that's kind of what I was digging into. And it's clunky. There's probably a way better way a guy could develop it to do this. It's all based on old webs like HTML and CSS shit, like 20-year-old fucking tech, but it works. And I made it work with Nostr.
Interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's like pulling a bunch of projects together, but like just, And like I said, it's rough as shit. It was like 3 or 4 hours of me sitting around dicking around because I was not even bored. I just got an idea in my head.
Right. Have you been still doing a lot with nests?
I have been doing a lot with Nostr nests, which is really cool. And they're looking at changing a lot of shit over there too, like having Nostr login, like actual you're logging with Alby eventually when they get it figured out, and zapping live within it and everything. But I've been sharing it alongside a lot of the shows I've been doing, and I've been trying to do like one dedicated Nostr Nest just audio show per week because I get a lot of interaction when I go live on this. A lot of guys on Nostr are really interested in what I'm doing, and they really like that interaction. Like people over there want to learn this shit. Like I've had more, like you said, the amount of interaction versus followers seems way higher on Nostr because you're actually getting that engagement. And I've had huge growth on Nostr. It's been crazy the amount of people that have ended up following me over there in such a really short amount of time. So I've had a lot of interaction on Nostr. So when I go live on a Nostr nest, I'll have 2 hours of back and forth question and answers without even trying after I run the show. So as far as what I'm trying to do and talk to people and educate, it's not hard to do over there at all. Which Nostr Nest is interesting because it's more like an audio conference style. It's more conversational and group oriented, less presentation style like what we're doing right here. But that is fun too. It's more like a constant three-way interview.
I've got a couple of different ideas that I'm kind of kicking around doing, both for my stuff and then for the magazine's page or profile, and doing like meet the writers or meet the contributors to the magazine session every week, and then kind of have a Q&A after the fact. And that lends itself really well to that type of format, like because you can keep people in the audience, have whoever you want on stage presenting, and then when you open it up to questions, there's mechanisms for people to raise their hand. You can bring them on stage, mute them, unmute them, and do what you please. It's a really nice controlled environment to do that. To get exposure, like you said, to the profile, to the people that are running it.
People like interact. People enjoy that actual being able to converse back and forth, not just follow somebody, you know?
Right. And then then I started thinking about what we had discussed, and I was trying to figure out on Clapper with the comedy show type of thing. And I think there could be a lot of interesting applications of that kind of format with Nest.
Right. I think so.
Roasts, comedy shows, battle, like not like rap battle. Well, I mean, maybe
if somebody wanted to. There's a lot of up and coming music artists that are using it now, or people just doing like a DJ type thing. You'll see a Nest pop up, and it's just somebody throwing up some chill tunes, some vibes or whatnot, running like a radio show. There's there's a one that's starting up now. They did one episode, and I kind of helped them get their podcast side set up, but they're doing like live. They call it the Rabbit Hole Podcast, and it's all things that are like conspiracy theories or the occult, or like it's almost like it's the After Dark style, like weird shit. There's guys that are talking about Bitcoin and Nostr, of course. There's a butcher that runs a Nest over there with questions and answers on stuff.
Who's that?
I don't know. Who is that? It's me and that guy Kyle most of the time. He's on there as much as me. But it's cool because we've got now this diverse. When we started out, there were like 2 or 3 that were just Bitcoins and guys talking about like memes and Nostr shit. But now it's like this whole range. And I think comedy fits right in there too. I see K-Bonk said something about that. And I'm kind of looking at that on the side here. We may have to work on your badge type thing too, or I don't know if it's on my end or yours. I'm getting a dead link when I pull it up. So
my badge on my website, my personal
looks
website.
like on the Lots project. Yeah.
Oh, the tip me with lightning. Yeah, I don't know. There was some message I had on my shit that said that it couldn't reconcile the link or something.
And I'll look at that link on my end too, just in case. It's
I forgot to send you a message on that.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we'll figure it out. Either way, I'm like, oh, now I got to go look.
You can send it to lots@getlb.com.
You can zap him on Nostr. That solves all the problems.
But no. So with the magazine, you mentioned Primal. It was really you were asking how that was going. Well, I just started posting my content. They have, the magazine. It isn't that I'm a huge fucking pothead that I chose this magazine to do. I interviewed Dustin and I looked at his stuff before the interview, and the art and the content they have in this magazine is phenomenal. Then I talked to the dude, and his attitude, his life, everything he had to say about his magazine, it clicked with me after we chatted, and I liked their vibe, and I was like, okay, you got a lot of awesome content. And I think it lends itself well to Nostr as I was browsing Nostr when I first got it started. So it was kind of a win-win marriage there. But yeah, I just started putting all this content up, some really cool covers, some art from the magazine. And somebody that was working on Primal reached out and said, hey, I like your content. I was wondering if you would like a vanity URL for Primal and NIP5 verification through us. It's something that they're going to offer as a VIP package when they get everything rolled out with Primal. But primal.net/fatnugs magazine or fatnugs mag is my Primal URL. So yeah, cool.
That's crazy. That's your NIP5 verification and everything. That's cool shit, dude. There's some guys doing some weird, crazy shit when it comes to the verifications like that. Like, I figured out, first of all, how to not only set up my own NIP5 on my own domain, which is cool, kind of gives you a little bit more credibility. Like, hey, somebody who owns this website actually had to go put this shit in a code somewhere.
Right.
That's cool. But then on top of that, I figured out how to mask your Lightning address on your own domain to make it look like your email address. So you right now I've got you go to my Nostr profile and my email address is listed as josh@renegadebutcher.com. My NIP5 is josh@renegadebutcher.com, and my Lightning address is josh@renegadebutcher.com. And that actually came in super handy during the Zapathon today, because 4 minutes in they crashed Wallet of Satoshi. That's how hard we went. 4 minutes in, we managed to crash Wallet of Satoshi. Now it came back in like 2-3 minutes. But on the fly, while that was going on, I was able to go in the back end on my website and swap 2 files around, rename 2 files, and literally make, not ever altering my Nostr profile, make my sats go from, instead of Wallet of Satoshi, they went to Albi.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, without ever changing my Lightning address from the forward face. So everybody who's still loading,
you went somewhere and are monitoring all this during the Zapathon, aren't you, you geek?
Yeah, I was sitting on Snort and just like watching the shit roll by, and then like open my website in the back end when I realized, well, it's Satoshi crashed. So within a minute, I have my Lightning address changed.
Is that just going to be like an ongoing joke for like the next 5 years, as well as every Thursday between 4 and 4:30 while
we crash Satoshi? Because we will literally try. It's ratcheted to the point. I don't even know how many were zapped this time, but it's ratcheted to the point. I know it was like last week there was something like 40, I think something like 4,000 zaps per minute was what the peak that they hit
during the Zapathon.
Yeah, during a Zapathon. Like, that's the idea of like, how much does it take to overload this network so that we can break it, so that the guys go, what broke now so I can make it better? And they just keep escalating it and escalating it and escalating. Yeah,
simple things for simple minds.
Well, one of the things that brought me down that road. So the guys that are at Nostr Plebs, the same development team, that they run a couple other things. They run like a relay, I think 2 or 3 relays. They run Nostr Nests. You've seen them. It's Derek Ross and Semisol.
Yep.
They also run a service where people can get NIP5 verified and whatnot. They just opened it up last night to where everybody who has a NIP5 verification with them also has an email.
Right.
As in, you could send an email to their NIP5 that they gave you, and it will forward to you on Nostr through a bot. So you're getting your email on Nostr to your Nostr NIP5 address at like whatever at Nostr Plebs, or they have like 4 different domains you can choose from. And I'm like, that's cool as shit. Now they haven't made it, they have not reversed it yet where you can send through the bot, but they're actually working on literally making Nostr replace old school email. It's not going over SMTP and all that shit. And you could eventually set it to where there is a stats price to send you an email. So they would literally, eventually it could become to the point where to send an email to someone, it costs you something, which kind of either eliminates spam or makes them pay you to send you spam. So you're paywalling your own email in a way. Yeah, optionally. There are so many possibilities.
Huh.
Yeah, that's becoming a reality. Like they've been theoretically talking about that for a while, and they just like took the first step to making it happen last night. So it's crazy because you get to watch this shit develop in real time.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
K-Bonk wants paid gifts.
I know he was talking about that earlier. Telegram doesn't.
You know what? I would drop 1,000. I would drop 1,000 sats to 1 sat per gift just to send them to K-Bonk in a private message.
Right? Oh, I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. You know, hey, here's the deal, K-Bonk. If you roll over to Nostr, you can actually get paid for posting gifts. That's even better, right?
It'd be a love-hate love relationship.
Exactly.
He would hate himself.
You feel any better? Now,
I did it for the money.
I did gifts last week. Maybe I'll do that for K-Bonk tomorrow. I will post all of my memes as gifts. But during the Zapathon, I figured out how to put my posting on autopilot. I pre-schedule all my shit so I can just focus on the zapping side of it and actually be a little more efficient. I did a mix of gifts and memes last week. I should do all gifts tomorrow. I did all memes today, but I literally posted 33 memes in 30 minutes today. And I didn't ever have to click a button other than setting it up to do it.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
But only because, well, it actually worked for me, but only because I just really wanted to figure out how it works. You know, do I need to do that? Do I really need to post 35, 40 fucking memes in 30 minutes? No. But I'd like to see if I can. You know, that's the cool thing about this is the possibilities of what is something that you can do. And if you can't do it, can you find somebody who knows how and convince them to do it? Or can you figure out how to do it yourself?
What's going on with Zap It?
So there's a couple Zappits. Now that's confusing me. The problem is these things are all fucking named the same. So you're talking about like the market thing, or are you talking about?
Yeah. I think he posted today that he was, he wants it to be really robust and a good product before he releases it.
Right. I've played with like the super alpha a little bit, but it's been a couple of days, which is like 3 weeks in Nostr time. How fast this shit shifts. It's crazy. There was one guy that just got back from like one of these big like Bitcoin / Nostr meetups in Mexico, and he was there for a week, and he came back, and we're all like talking about shit, and he goes, I have no idea what the fuck's going on. And this is one of the guys who's like been hard and heavy in it when I first got into Nostr. He's like, I'm so lost. And I was like, how do you not know about scheduled zaps and Cassie? What the fuck is wrong with you? You know? But we're like, oh wait, a week in Nostr time is like a year. Because it's all changing and growing so quick. So like it's been like 2 days since I probably really fucked with Zap It, but it looks really hopeful. Essentially, he's trying to make the whole interface. So if you guys know anything about Nostr at all and you fiddled with it much, LN Bits is a company out of the UK they basically make an accounting software that installs on a Lightning node, and you can get it along with like your Start9 or with your Umbrel server, or you can play with some of these tools online. But basically, it allows a lot of really cool shit over Lightning, like selling NIP5 addresses, selling Lightning addresses. If you have connections on your own node to your own domain, to the old school like pay URLs and like QRs that we were making, that we would like post up that were a static QR, LN Bits is the tool to make those. You can go on and make like infinite number of Lightning addresses. You can have it split between different Lightning addresses. You can have it auto forward. So it gives you a lot of really cool tools. Marketplace is one of those cool tools, but all these tools have been super bare bones and like hard to use. So I think what he's trying to do is make the ability that already has to make a marketplace, but accessible for normal people. And the problem is these are all like, yeah, you can go make a Nostr marketplace, but if nobody sees it or knows where to find it or knows the server address, what good does it do? So he's trying to basically enable that to where, okay, these could all be linked here and somebody can channel in and find it and do something with it. And along with that, it's going to be like paywalls. So like, hey, if I want to sell this cool ebook and just only get it for Lightning, but I want people to see it, that may be one of the places to go and put it. As well, it's great to be decentralized and everything like that. What good is a market if nobody knows where the fuck to find it?
Right. If a tree falls in the forest, does anybody know that it?
Right. So it's a thing. The more we decentralize it, the more we run into these odd problems of like, okay, so how do we make these legacy ideas work? Marketplace is kind of one of them. So there's like 3 or 4 guys that are like spinning on ideas of how to make it work. And it'll probably be 2 or 3 big marketplaces out there. You'll have your eBay and your Etsy and your Amazon of the Nostr world that will eventually pop up. And, you know, it's like anything, whatever works best will get more use.
Or is anybody working on, is anybody working on any sort of group thing that you've seen?
There's some ideas out there. You've got to go in a couple different directions. So like there's group chats that kind of work fairly well between the that Nostr chat IO that I sent you. That also works on the same protocol as the group chats in Amethyst. So they actually work together. They're on the same NIP. There's that. There's also something, and I'm not really super familiar with how he's managing to make it work or how that's going to look. That's on satellite.earth, which is a new up and coming, and he's like releasing the open source on that pretty soon, Nostr client. And then you've also got like hashtags kind of become groups in a way. And there's some clients that are focusing on that really hard. There's one that I saw something of today, and I didn't really get to explore it that hard, but it's basically like a Reddit style clone to where you log in, and instead of being in like different Reddit groups or, you know, subreddits or whatever, you follow hashtags and you just see stuff from that hashtag on your timeline. Like it's hashtag focused.
I'm wondering,
and it's got up votes and down votes, which are based on sats. It's like an up zap and a down zap, and you can set your up zap goes to the person that creates it, and supposedly you can set it to where like the down zap, like I don't like this, drops it in the feed, but also the zap goes wherever you want. Like maybe it's a charity organization or something.
Right.
Which is cool.
I'm thinking like, remember back when Float was going to implement groups, and I think it was Jack that had originally the thought came out, might have been on Unloose the Goose, but when he was talking about maybe a semi-private group based on a certain genre, and I think he used the example of lawyers.
Right.
Lawyers would have a group, and you can view the group, but you can also pay into the group to get a question answered by everyone in the group, and then that splits out to the people that are the quote-unquote experts.
I think that's going to maybe pan out in 2 different ways. For one, I think we're going to see a lot of private relays pop up to where, okay,
right, that could get handled on a relay, no problem.
Right, so it's a paid relay, as in, okay, I want to be a part of this, so you pay a certain amount to get into this relay, or maybe it's you have to know somebody and get whitelisted to be part of this relay. It's a private club, and the only way you're on there is if you're allowed by the relay itself. And then anything that gets passed to that relay stays on that relay. It's a private server, you know, or it's a group of relays just so there's more redundancy and less chances of everything getting lost. But whatever, there is the potential for closed groups. There's also the potential coming up. A lot of clients may start enabling when you make an event, when you post a note, when you do something, that you can set it to be only broadcasted to these relays. So I could turn around and say, hey, when I want to, there's guys that play with the gambling bots and stupid shit like that. Like they like whatever,
I saw that.
trivia bots. You're like, what's going on? But it's annoying and it'll clog up the feed, so people get pissed and they just unfollow those guys. You could set to be like, I only want these to broadcast to the right relays, not to my main feed. Or when I'm chatting with people over here on Jack's site with this thing that's enabled, I'd not like to see that on my main to broadcast all the relays that all the new people see out of context what's going on. So
that was crazy. All of a sudden I saw all these people that all they had was the hashtag TSP and TSPZ.
And you're like, why is this weird out of context stuff?
Like, what the fuck is going on? There were like blank messages. There were just like greetings. And I'm like, what the hell is going on?
It's because they're on a chat and it's happening on the protocol, but the relays it's broadcasting to look like it's just coming from your regular profile too. So they're working out the kinks with that. So you've got the idea of the paid relays there, but also as you were talking about, as far as like a group and people being able to like pay in for questions, I think there's eventually going to be an option to sort of paywall or have like premium groups in something like Nostr Nests. And they're also going to have it be like, hey, you could zap the room and it could get split to like say everybody who's participating, who's on stage, or to the room in general, or maybe it comes out and it's like weighted by whoever was in for the longest amount of time gets a heavier amount or something like that. And those things could be set up on the back ends to where we could have like smart zap splits eventually for something like a group chat or things like that, you know, a council of people who, you know, are all participating in some sort of event. So that's the thing. What is possible? Everything. What's going to get implemented? You guys choose, because it really comes down to the developers are going to build what people either pay them to do or there's the most demand for. It's incentivized to make it for the people because the people who are using it are the ones with the zaps. And that's what pays their bills. It's like one of the memes I posted up today. It was like, you know, ooh, it looks really cool when you see a developer that I posted a new update today. Here's a new APK of my software. Go ahead and download it. Awesome. That guy just got zapped 9,000 sats in like 10 seconds.
Yeah.
For the update. Okay, cool. That was like $4, guys. So don't feel bad. Don't feel like these guys are just like rolling in it. A lot of them are doing it because they enjoy it or they think, can I do it? These guys, if they were living on zaps, would be making the equivalent of probably $25-$30 a day. So, you know, they're not doing it for the money. But at the same time, money talks. You'll see them talking a lot of times about, hey, well, if you really think that's a good idea, put out a bounty. Because some of these guys don't have time to do all the projects that are suggested to them either. Most of them don't. So there's a lot of guys that are just looking for work, and they'll go out and look and go, hey, somebody has a bounty up here for 100,000 sats to develop this cool feature, and I got an idea of how to make it work. They may just go make that one afternoon, and if it works, they made the money, you know?
Right.
So, yeah.
Yeah, I start thinking about something. So you will say something, or I'll read something on there, something that somebody's developing, and then I just kind of go down these spirals of how can I implement that? And right now it's kind of the, you know, it's always said that it's, you know, it's the Wild West of the internet and all this shit again. But no shit, it is. You know, this is like,
it's the old pioneering days.
We're walking
got opportunities.
We're walking through the fucking desert, and here's a little town. Man, can I set up a bar? I don't fucking care. If you think you can sell booze, set up a fucking bar. Can I set up a barber shop? Well, most of the guys here are bald, but I mean, go ahead if you want.
You can do anything you want, whether it makes sense or it pans out or it's profitable in the end. Only time will tell, but you're free to fucking try. There's no rules.
Right. There's no restrictions here at all.
Right.
And
now maybe somebody pops up a town and says, hey, here's my rules.
But that's
you don't like it, leave. But you could go to another town.
That's very scary for people.
It is. Freedom comes with responsibility, and it means responsibility of you're going to have to curate your own experience too. You're going to see
this is going to test some anarchists.
Yes, it already has
on their anarchist metal. Do you really believe that everyone can say what they want as long as they're not hurting anyone?
How okay are you on flying on jumping without a parachute here? How very much can you handle somebody else not censoring and curating my feed for me. Am I okay with occasionally seeing a Nazi and having to hit the block button myself? Or do I want somebody else to do all that filtering for me? And I risk seeing other people that they don't like censored from me and I never knew. How much of an echo chamber do I want to live in? We had this discussion, I think it was on your group at one point, the one day where I think somebody was mentioning echo chambers. And they said basically, like, yeah, if you change echo chambers, it may sound different. I said, well, if you're in an echo chamber, at this point, it's your own doing.
Right.
Because you are in control of who you do want to see, what you're exposed to, what you listen to, or whatnot. And we all, in one way or another, do live in our own little echo chambers. We do surround ourselves with people that we want to hear from. But if you want to change that up, the only person that's stopping you right now is you.
All you have to do is go on Nostr, go across the bottom, and hit that globe, and scroll for about 30 seconds. You will learn if you're okay with free speech.
If you are a complete psychopath right now, there's a feature where you can literally switch from your echo chamber to somebody else's.
Yeah.
There is one of these listers. It's like lister.lol or whatnot. I have to go and find it, where you can literally go in, back up. Please do this first. Back up your own follow list so that, and you can save it. And then you could literally put in either the follow list of anybody else, or it'll list like popular profiles like Jack Dorsey or Pablo or whatever. And you can change it out and follow their people.
If you're on Nostr and you look at Josh the Renegade Butcher and you're like, that dude is seriously fucking twisted, I wonder what that motherfucker looks at. I wonder
what he sees on his feed. You could do that. You can
go on here and get made into the Renegade Butcher and see what this guy is looking at all day.
Right. Oh, I'll tell you what, if you want to do that even easier and you really just want a fucked up life, I shouldn't even say this, but it's totally, that's the thing. It's out there. It's in the open. You should be able to do this. In pubs work for logins too on read-only mode.
That's right.
So if you want to go to Snort or Iris or whatever on your computer, and you want to drop my InPub or Brian's InPub or whatever into there and log in, you'll log in read-only mode. You won't be able to post as us. You won't be able to read our DMs, but you'll be able to pop in and you'll be able to go and see everybody, our feed as if it was us, what we would see, and you'll be able to open the DMs and you'll be able to see who DM'd us and who we DM'd, who we've actually had interactions with. I think you can even read timestamps of when they occurred. So if you want to go in and see some of the conversations I've had with people without reading the contents, you're welcome to do it. And I can't stop you. That's the thing about it. There's also a level of accountability there too, to where it's like, if you really want to present a public image of you're just this polished person, either you be that polished person or don't be on Nostr. I'm not ashamed of who I talk to or the things that I look at. Just
dude, I follow some shit and I do research for sure. Sure. I'm not gonna lie.
Right. But I think it also holds people to a certain level of accountability and honesty with themselves of like, hey, you're on the internet. And here's the thing. Now it's not just people who are talented on the computer and can hack into your back end shit and see it, or the NSA or the FBI that sees that shit. It's anybody.
Well, you sent me that bot that you can get a notification when you get a DM. And all you do is put your NPub in, and I'm like, well, fuck, I could put Josh's NPub in and see when he's getting DMs, when he's getting lit up.
There's a bot on Nostr right now, and this was shaking everybody up like last weekend. It was pissing them off. People were like, what the fuck? It was like getting some people in trouble with their women and shit like that. Basically, somebody figured out that, okay, not only could you log in and see, when DMs right now, and there's ways maybe eventually that this can be changed. This is the reason this thing happened. Somebody basically proof of concept was like, when I send somebody a DM, I can't read the contents. That's all encrypted. But the fact that happened, that event goes across the relays, and that's public knowledge. It's like when you send a letter. If I sent Brian a letter, I had to put it in the post office box, and every mail carrier between me and him had their hands on it and read that I sent it from my receive address to his send address. That's public information. It's out there. You can't hide the fact that I had a correspondence with him, and it occurred between these times. The contents, you have to open the envelope to read it. That's the encryption. So somebody made a bot that literally just posted a note every time so-and-so DM'd somebody else. So people were seeing that, and people were literally being like, "Oh, this guy was DMing with that porn spammer back and forth like 15 times," and they were like resharing the notes, just like fucking trolled them, just like boosting it up. And people are like, "Why are you doing this? What is wrong with you guys?" And it was going viral that they were like having these DM conversations. But I think the whole point was some smart ass programmer was like, "Is this really what we want? Because I could program a bot that exposes all this." And then they did it. And it was like a social experiment of like, hey, here's what's available. And let's put it out there for everybody. So that started made people actually conscious and think about, what are my DMs, and do I want to DM that person?
It's not Facebook where you're in Messenger and it's all separate. Well, I mean, it's not really, but only the people who are the admins and the FBI and the CIA get to read your shit, just not the rest of us. Yeah, exactly. That's what they said. Somebody said, they're like, keep in mind all this shit that you're experiencing now of like, oh my God, other people could read my DMs or read who I'm DMing, even if they can't read it. Somebody could see that. That's been happening forever. It's just not out in the open for the rest of us. Right. Somebody else somewhere, all of your shit lives on somebody's server. You're trusting them with your stuff. And even if you're on Telegram and you have encrypted communications between whatever, because we've set up a private chat, somebody can read that the correspondence took place. It's just, it's obvious here because we're dealing with the programmers and they're going, this is what happens. Are we okay with that? There might be a coffee deal being worked out on Nostr.
So guys, just so you know, if you log in as the Renegade Butcher or you go and snoop my DMs, you're going to see me talking to some porn actresses. It happens. It's happened. There has been business dealings and it's not been me buying titty pics. Okay.
Yeah. Wait, he might have got those too, but
I mean, I didn't have to pay if that happened. But either way,
just sampling the product, man. I was just sampling the product.
God. But that's the thing. And I'm of the opinion that, I'm all for free speech, and I'm not a prude. So if somebody wants to go online and they want to sell pictures of themselves and they want to make money, I support them as a business person. I think they should be able to do that. My stats. But I don't look at them as less of a person because that's something they want to do. And I know a lot of people have like a moral issue with it. They're not okay with it. And that's okay. I'm okay. I don't mind that you have a scruple against that. You don't have to partake and participate. And I'm not one to go out and spend a bunch of money on dumb shit. But if somebody wants to do that, I'll converse with you. You're another human. You're another active user. And guess what? If you want to share my shit and you want to talk with me, and that's the thing. We see people in different segments. We've been kind of forced into this box by social media where we all have our little groups and our little tribes and we don't want to communicate with each other and we want to segregate. On Nostr, everybody's a Nostr user. Everybody's a Nostrich. We're all normal people. And if the person that wants to sell their
we're not normal, dude.
We're all the same. You're right, we're not normal. But if she wants to sell her titty pics over there, that's fine. I don't care. But that doesn't stop me from replying to the good morning post that pops up and the picture of a coffee cup, because I'm doing the exact same thing. And in that moment, I'm corresponding with that person as a fucking human. And you don't see that when somebody's like, come subscribe to my OnlyFans or blah, blah, blah. No,
I mean, she's not a porn actress 24/7.
Right. But we take that for granted because we have been living in a world for so long where we're isolated from other humans and we just judge them by their profession or this or their politics or whatever. And then you log in the Nostr and every person you follow, whatever they post is there and they're another person. And not all of their
Robert Kennedy Jr. follows her.
Oh, I guarantee you. Whoever the hell is running that fake account is definitely following her. But that's the thing. So you jump on there. So if I'm on Facebook, if I'm on Instagram or whatnot, I could run it totally as just a business. And this is all my professional shit that I post, or I could occasionally post little personal blurbs and things that happen throughout my day, kind of like what happens on Telegram. If I post that shit on Facebook, guess what? Nobody sees it. Or maybe people only see my personal posts and they don't see the business posts because Facebook curates it based on what they may want to see, or what is more profitable for Facebook in the algorithm.
What's more profitable? I was going to say it's
right,
not what the people
right.
want to see, because I like shit because I want to see it, and they don't show me anything I like. So,
and Jack said this shit for years. I've noticed it off and on for years. Obviously, nowhere near the scale that he does, but it's like the guy could have tens of thousands of Twitter followers and 40 people see his shit. Why? How is that even possible? How does that make sense? You're on Nostr and you have 40,000 followers. You see 40,000 people's worth of shit, and you probably don't even want that.
Yeah.
You know, you probably don't want to follow that many people. Right now, I follow back everybody that follows me. I follow a little bit more than that, actually, but it's right around 500 and 600, somewhere in that neighborhood. That's more than a fucking year's worth of me building YouTube. That is more than a year's worth of work on YouTube. That is, and TikTok for some reason actually throws people at you. So I have like 3,000 followers over there or whatnot, but that's over me being an active user over there for years. I've been on Nostr for not even 2 months, and I have over 500 followers, and I follow just over 600 people. You cannot get that anywhere else. And they're all active, engaged people that want to communicate and are enthusiastic to share my shit and interact with me individually. You don't get that experience on social media anymore. The last time I had anything like this on social media was back in the MySpace days. You know?
I don't know. I froze.
I just saw. Yeah, you did just come back. Came back at the perfect moment too, with the tongue out. But yeah, it's crazy, just the difference in engagement and the difference in how the growth happens. Because
the quality,
there is no shadow banning happening really right now. There's some questioning on like what is shadow banning and can that happen, and is some of this spam filtering, does that teeter on that line? But we're very much at that point right now where it's like when you post shit, it gets shown. Unless if somebody follows you, they see it.
Well, and you have the option of using the spam filtering or not.
Right.
From what I've seen.
Pretty much. There's depends on the client that you're using. And like the controversy right now is mostly with Amethyst, because there's some things that get like pre-filtered, like you're not going to see it if enough people have reported it already.
Right.
Or you're going to see all these people have reported this note. And you have to click to unsee it, which is fine. You know what? If I see 63 people have reported this as spam, sometimes I unclick it just because I'm curious. And every time I'm like, it's that fucking shitcoin bot again. God damn it.
Yep.
You know, I'm like, all right. But I'm always curious. I'm like, let's keep them honest. Yep. Go ahead and show it to me, you know, but there is a working system. It's rudimentary, and that will depend on the client. Like you get on Snort or Iris, you're not going to see that. There's people that are looking at ways maybe to add filtering like that or on the relay level. Wine has a filter relay where you can select what things you do want to filter. You could say like, I don't want to see anything from this hashtag. Like if I don't want to see hashtag Titster, don't show it to me.
Not NSFW.
Now, granted, that's a paid feature where it's like you pay them a certain amount of sats per month or whatnot. But guess what? You have the power to do it. They have to pay for the server bills. So that's how they monetize.
How important is it to you not to see a big veiny rod with your coffee in the morning?
Exactly. So, you know, one way or another,
is it worth 1,000 sats a week for you?
Like it or not, we've all paid for our social media experience. We've all had to either pay in our time, in our ad revenue that we put out, our time not seeing what we don't want to see, or we actively will pay for certain features. A lot of people pay money to social media apps, you know, all the time. How many people have been scammed by gaming bots and shit like that? Now, what's really happening, what we're seeing happen, is the ability to personally curate what you want your experience to be. To your money and your time and your choices get put where you want them to. And if you don't like it, you change it.
Right.
It's not just ultimate anarchy, it's ultimate freedom. That's what comes from that is. And the responsibility in the end of it all comes down on you. If you don't like your Nostr experience, maybe you still have to learn how to make it better. But at the end of it, the experience is on you.
And it keeps it very
honest.
Well, I think the type of user there makes it okay. Karen's not there.
Right. Not yet.
Fucking Karen is not on Nostr right now.
Karen is not there yet because it's too hard. She wants to talk to Nostr's manager.
And she wants to know
who is
why
the CEO of
Nostr were on her feed.
I want to know. I want to talk to the CEO of Nostr right now.
Where do I complain about the guy that was swearing in my feed? Who do I talk to? Are you the manager? Because I want to talk to your manager.
That's the thing. There is no manager.
Talk to Will.
You are your own manager. If you are offended, it's your fault, and it's up to you to do something about it.
Talk to
Will. That's
Will.
the way the world used to be, and that's the way it should be. That's the thing. That's the cool thing. Nostr's the way the world's supposed to be. If you're offended, it's your fault, and it's up to you to learn to deal with it.
By not associating with the person or conversing with them or understanding them. Or
the block button is there. The let's cancel this person button is not there. You'll have to work for that.
Correct.
Yeah.
You will have to lobby enough people.
Your people all riled up and get enough pitchforks and torches to go after somebody and say we should all block this guy or get the relays to not share his shit. Great. Go do the work then and get enough people on your side. It's achievable, but you're not going to have like a report button and a bunch of little bots to go do it for you.
Well, and you're not going to have Zuckercock blocking your profile and not answering requests for a reason why or anything.
It's not
like
going to be you said something naughty and it's offended one person. Timeout for 30 days.
There's no Nostr jail. Oh, we should start a hashtag Nostr jail.
Oh yeah, I got put in Nostr jail. Sorry, guys.
Then when somebody posts something stupid, you reply Nostr jail, and they're in Nostr jail.
So the other sort of side buzz that's been going on Nostr for a while, everybody's been talking about it. So because I don't want to say because of the success of Nostr, but sort of alongside Nostr as it's developed, the parallel idea was Twitter said let's make a decentralized social media. They called it Blue Sky, where basically it's okay. It's supposed to be based on the same idea of it should just be up to the users. It's not so blah 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 controlled by moderation, and they're kind of mimicking the idea of relays. I don't know exactly what they're using, but of course it's a Twitter dev team. They're making Twitter light. You have to have like an invite code to get it over there. I haven't seen it. And from what I've seen, I don't want to, because a lot of the bigger posters on Nostr have them and have been over there. It's to the point now, like they're selling invite codes on eBay for like a couple $100. And it was like, okay, what kind of a decentralized free network do you literally have to buy a pass on eBay to get on it? But anyways, everybody over there is pissed off. Everybody over there is fighting. It's all about shit coins or some dumb shit. And people are getting into fucking arguments so much. And then coming back to Nostr and going, wow, it's such a different vibe over here, to the point where now they're not calling it censoring. They're not calling it moderation. Even though some people have been removed, they are calling it a vibe check. Or a vibe control technology. Vibe control technology is a term that came out on Blue Sky as an algorithm to basically light censor certain low vibe, discussions.
Social media or social credit score, huh?
Essentially. And I was like, I think vibe control technology is what they call a remote controlled dildo. Not a fucking social. You're getting fucked either way. All right. It's
dude. I think I saw a couple fucking with one of those the last time I was at Walmart.
Oh, at the Walmart.
Yeah. I thought about it after the fact. I didn't really process it at the time, but then I saw a TikTok that somebody was, and I was like,
they were probably making a TikTok when you saw it.
Oh yeah. Okay. Yep.
That's why they had one guy had his hand in his pocket and the girl was walking all weird. Okay.
Well, I thought that they were partaking in some party favors, probably crystalline in nature, and starts with an M and ends with an F.
It could have been both, honestly.
It could have been both.
It very well could have been both.
But no, they didn't play the part. They didn't look the part. They definitely looked like the remote sex toy part for sure.
There you go.
For sure.
There you go.
It all came together. So that's the vibe check right there.
I guess that must be. So that's been like a running joke.
So not everybody's into it, just like that.
Right. Exactly. Not everybody's into it.
I'm the vibe on Nostr is what you make it. So I don't think I need it. I don't
is.
need it checked other than if I'm not enjoying it, then I check it myself. So
Exactly. And I've run into a few negative people over there. I've run into a few people. I actually had my first like actual vegan troll over there. That was great. That was a fun experience. I got some cannibalistic threats too. It was fun. So what I did?
Yeah, you made a T-shirt or something, didn't you?
Yeah. So I could have just blocked the guy because he's just being a fucking dick. And I was like, I straight up said, I'm like, I'm not going to sit here and argue vegan versus not with you. It's all a bunch of dumb arguments. I've spent years doing that online. Everything you're saying is just basically a bunch of PETA memes. I can completely discredit everything you're saying, but it's not worth my time. So don't waste my time. I said, if you don't want to see things about slaughter and processing and food freedom, don't follow me. And he just continued the conversation on and then threatened to eat my family. So I said, okay, cool. So I just screenshot it and I just said, thanks for the new shirt idea. And I made up a shirt and just started posting it up as merch to sell it with the guy's shit. Literally in the shirt description for the shop, I had like the Nostr note, and then he tried to delete it. He requested it to be deleted. And I said, well, you can't actually do that, bitch, because this is Nostr and you can ask the relay to delete it or not. But guess what? I rebroadcast and it goes to my personal relay. It doesn't go away. I don't have to screenshot it. There is a non-erasable freaking record that you've made this. And that's the other part is nothing goes away on the internet. Even if somebody hits delete on the server, it's backed up somewhere. As we have seen from many people getting busted for dumb shit they shouldn't have been doing by the FBI, you can't ever erase your trail on the internet. You're accountable for your fucking actions. And I was like, you picked the worst place to come be dumb. He goes, well, I really don't want to be harassed. And I said, well, you should stop coming to my shit then and fucking it up.
You should stop harassing me.
He goes, well, it's just dark humor. I love everybody. And I was like, apparently you love them with a side of Chianti and some nice fava beans. Yeah. So I was like, okay, whatever. But that's the thing. Monetize the trolls. If you want to come be a little bitch, I'll just make you famous.
Did you sell any yet?
No, not yet. But I did have some more suggestions. A couple of people were really interested. I offered to send the guy a shirt. I said, I'll send you one on the house, man. Just give me an address. And he's like, I'm not going to give you my address. I'm like, you wanted to eat my family. You can't be scared of me. Come on. You got to pick a lane, bro.
Yeah, you can't be all bravado and then say, here, I'll send my kid over for you to eat him. What's your address? Oh, I ain't giving you my address.
I should have told him, here, I'll give you a time to meet up. You can come pick it up. How about that? Which was great. I went and checked back on my vegan pet earlier today or whatnot. And they had a long post that have actually gotten a good bit of zaps. And so, hey, proud of them. Long post journeying how they've had such a difficult time because they haven't even come out totally to their partner yet, but how they're really transsexual and they want to transition. They're just not ready. So it's one of these people. They also said somebody else came in.
Transsexual vegan.
It's a transsexual vegan that hasn't actually transitioned yet and hasn't actually come out to their partner yet. They're living a straight life and it's really hard. There's that. Yes. I know.
I've heard this story before.
I feel like I've heard this story before too. So I was like, wow, this is just really deep. Oh, they also, during this conversation with me, somebody else had come in and kind of called them out and said, it sounds like a bunch of liberal bullshit. And, you can post whatever you want, but it can, but this is Nostr and a lot of people right here. We're not about the like censoring other people's shit, And
right.
he's like, well, I'm not even a liberal. And he goes like, well, it walks like a liberal, talks like a liberal, kind of thing. And so later on, I had to go back and snoop this guy's shit a little bit. He was literally having a conversation with somebody else. And they were going back and forth on how they're both on the left, but they're disgusted by the things that the left does. And it just makes them wish that they had better people to vote for on the left. And I just literally copied the note, posted it over, copied the note ID and posted it over in the other conversation. And was just like, oh, look at this. Comes up with him talking about being a liberal. And the guy goes, oh my God, really? A liberal lied? No way. So those be the thing. We're not used to interacting with that class of people very much because they don't tend to stick around long in places where it's open and free and uncensored. They will come in and they will come check it out, and they will probably come troll you. Get some thick skin and deal with it. Be a grown up. You have to, or
just don't be a dick.
Right? Exactly. It is what it is. If they want, if I treat you like a dick, you are probably a dick to me and actually deserve. You have to earn that shit. But you know, that's just part of being a grown up. This is real life. This is like back in the day when somebody could punch you in the mouth for being an asshole. You know, it's,
yep.
If you don't want to get treated like shit, treat people like normal people. Treat people like you want to be treated. If you're kind to people, and guess what? You pop on Nostr in the morning and everybody's posting good morning and talking about their coffee and whatnot. And you're like, hey, good morning. Hope you guys have a good day. Everybody's happy and cheerful. And that just sort of naturally happens. When somebody pops in and starts talking shit to somebody else, they might get pissed off. You don't get a hit report when they get mad at you.
Yeah.
So,
yeah,
you know.
I mean, so you hear a lot of people talking, I want a freedom-oriented platform. I want Rumble. I want this. I want that. Facebook's fascist, blah, blah, blah. Well, here you go. Here you go.
Right.
This is what you want.
It is. Now, it's
Are
not,
you sure you want it?
Exactly.
Now, and I'm not encouraging anybody from coming over there and trying it, but people just need to really be aware of.
I love the fact that it's constantly challenging people on their own ethics and their own thoughts and their own whatever, because this will challenge your resolve. And we all have things that we're just not okay with or we don't want to interact with. You're going to run into those.
I've seen many conversations spurred around. So Jack set up a kind of a protocol to grow yourself over there and a hashtag that everybody's using. Mm-hmm. So people keyed in on it. Why wouldn't you? It's got a lot of traffic. You got Jack Spirko saying, hey, everybody post to this. And he had a bunch of larger names over there buying too.
And if you have a big following that shows up and they're all posting at least 2 times a day with that hashtag.
If I am looking at that hashtag to find new content. So me as a not a dumb person says, well, if I want people to see my stuff, I'm going to use that hashtag along with a bunch of other hashtags.
There's no rules.
Okay. Well, I have a porn site. I have a porn profile where I post porn pictures, and I'm going to use this because maybe some people there want to see it. Maybe some don't, but maybe some do.
Maybe some people that are into like liberty and freedom or whatnot are okay with watching people fight.
I have seen several conversations with people that said, you need to stop posting that on Grow Nostr. That's not what that's for.
Well, you're free to tell them that and you're free to think that, but you also can't stop them. You could unfollow the hashtag. That sucks, but you're also going to miss out on all the good shit that happens there. But it's the risk you take. That's a part of it. Your mommy is not here to shelter you from the world.
Pivot.
Yeah.
If you don't like it, make a new hashtag that everybody uses. And then when somebody posts on there, say, no, this is my fucking hashtag, blocked.
Or when the porn pops up and it offends you and you get done clutching your pearls, hit block and you'll never see that person again.
That's right. Even if they post under the hashtag, you won't see it.
Right. So if you're like, I really don't want to see this person's stuff ever again, you could cry about it or you could never see their stuff again.
Like that's where the wieners went for me, is I just hit block because I didn't want to see. I think it was like
log into your input to see you do look at the wieners.
It was like Harry Jungle or something was the name that kept popping up, and I was like, I'm good.
No thanks. Harry Jungle. Okay, so if you guys want to go follow that, just have your block trigger ready.
Yeah, you do. Actually, it kept popping up because I was curious what this guy was doing with the NSFF or NSFW hashtag. I was seeing
watching a double top to catch up to us because he came in late. I forgot you could do that.
So I was seeing what was kind of funneling onto that hashtag.
Yeah.
And if it was all just porn or if it was kind of like shit you shouldn't see at work. It doesn't necessarily have to be porn not to be appropriate for work.
That's not the only thing you shouldn't watch at work. You probably should not watch some certain other things around.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That's what. So I was curious. What was? Is it like trippy shit that maybe I want to post for the magazine? Like, is this something where, or is this my crowd? Even though it's used for porn, maybe the porn crowd is open to marijuana magazines. I don't know.
I mean, it's pretty possible.
So yeah, so that's where that came from, and there are a ton of curated porn feeds on Nostr.
Mm-hmm. There are. Well, it makes sense. So if you think about it, when you open up a protocol and a way for people to actually communicate on the internet in a pretty uncensored, open way, who's going to be the first people that show up other than nerdy developers who are interested in the ideas? People who have been censored and kicked off everywhere else. So why do you think immediately everybody got turned off by things like Gab or Float or whatnot? Because all the people that are there are conspiracy theorists and Nazis. Because it's the first people to go when people start getting heavy with the kicking people out. So they've got to go somewhere. They don't just shut up and go away and stop being who they are and talking about what they want to talk about. They find somewhere where they're allowed to. Nostr's not stopping anybody right now, other than the individual people who are blocking them. Or if you subscribe to a block list or something, you actually have to, by default, you have to turn around and go, I want to not see these things.
Right.
So it's a pretty open platform for that. And you know what? You're never going to get rid of that. No matter what we do in society, no matter what we build, somebody is always going to find the loopholes. Somebody's always going to find a way to game the system, and things are always going to progressively suck. So we have to, it's like, just like Bitcoin. You have to take responsibility for your own money and your own finances, and that's scary and hard sometimes. This is the same thing for your actual social media experience. You take responsibility.
I think this might be a different case. Being able to curate your own experience, it can't get ruined as long as you have a popular enough view or a similar enough view to warrant someone to build an interface for you to use that you can curate your feed the way you want to, or you have enough desire to use it and only see what you want that you're willing to pay for it. It doesn't have to go the way of anything because it isn't controlled by anyone in particular.
Oh, absolutely. No,
by everyone.
I think the main holdup for a lot of people is going to be themselves. They have to take responsibility for being, well, they are responsible.
We haven't had to for so long, or we haven't. It's not that we haven't had to. We haven't been
had our hands
to.
held. We had our hands held or our hands handcuffed, one way or the other. This is going to be what you
depending
have.
On how you want to look at it,
right? Yeah, exactly. Depending on whether you like that or not, depending on whether or not you enjoy the chains.
That's a T-shirt.
Yeah, which one?
The something about handcuffs or hand holding, depending on how you look at it.
Yeah, that could be. That'd be a good one. Sell it on Nostr. Hey, but that's the other thing, though. Where else can you go right now on social media where I can go and frictionlessly send money instantly to other people? We're paying zero to almost nothing for fees, and nobody can say anything about it or stop it.
Can't use Bitcoin, dude. How are you going to buy a candy bar with Bitcoin?
Can't ever do it. You'll never be able to buy something with
That's
Bitcoin.
Stupid. You're stupid. Right? You got fake internet money. Who would ever be able to sell a mug for that and ship it to places all over the world and just receive like weird internet money seamlessly?
Exactly. Who can go online and turn around and be like, for fun today, I'm going to send a quarter of a cent to all my buddies for their cool memes instantly with the click of a button, and nobody can actually stop me from doing it.
Not my cool buddies for all their memes, my buddies with all their cool memes, because Josh doesn't have any cool buddies.
True. That's true. You're right. Oh, call me out like that. Damn. But no. But
I'm one of your buddies, though, so I think I
know. Soft self burn. But
it's
no,
like giving myself an Indian burn.
Exactly. But no, I mean, we have the freedom to be able to do shit like that now, and you can't do that anywhere else. You can't go on Facebook Marketplace and sell some shit, and they don't take a cut or they don't control how you do it. You can't go and sell some shit on eBay.
That was the thing that really opened my eyes, and I haven't done much with it because I've been dicking around with a bunch of stuff. But when we first jumped on there, we both kind of messed around with the seasonings. I was messing around with mugs. Basically, I made a mug. And if anybody wants it, it's still available for sale. It's got the Bitcoin supply formula on it, and then a big red B or a big orange B on the other side for Bitcoin. But anyway, I took the pictures. I threw them up on Nostr as a post and said, hey, check out this coffee mug. If anybody's interested, send me a message and the city you're in, and I'll give you a quote. And then if you want to buy it, I'll just send you an invoice in the DM.
Yep.
And I sold enough. That made it worth posting that picture. But then the nice part was Josh posted a picture of him drinking out of it, or maybe it was Hunter, and somebody was like, hey, where'd you get that mug? You tagged me, and I sold one in the next 10 minutes because the person was like, I want that. Where can I get it? And I was able to deliver that to them instantly.
And because, no, there's not an algorithm out there right now that everybody's using to see stuff like that, but we are the algorithm. When your buddy sees some shit and goes, oh, there's a conversation that's relevant to them, I just tag them and bring them in the conversation. Or
the afternoon, I was looking and just scrolling along, and somebody was cooking and saying,
talking about chicken seasoning.
What kind of seasoning should I use on my chicken tonight? And they had the seasoning, they had 4 different pictures, and they had a poll going, and I voted in the poll. I said, this one looks really good, but I think you should check out this motherfucker's seasoning. He's got some for sale right now for Lightning, and he'll mail it to you. And
then you tagged me. I popped over, and I'm like, yeah, I got you, man. And he's like, cool, I want some. I'm like, you want mild or spicy? And we have a little conversation. I drop him an invoice. He pays, and I'm like, all right, DM me your shipping address. Boom, done. Just like that.
But here's the thing. I thought about it. So I was thinking about it. A lot of the people I've interacted with, I kind of know. Through friends of friends or contacts of contacts, this or that. But several people I don't. We're entering different communities. We both kind of came out of the TSP community. And even if you're not in, if I'm not in XYZ group, you have a cred within the TSP. Oh yeah, he's a TSP guy. Even if you're not in the same groups, or
people at least know your name. They recognize that. Okay, yeah.
It kind of comes with a little bit of assurance that hey, if I say this dude fucked me over, there's going to be a benefit, or there's going to be a
communities form. Humans are tribal, so you're going to trust somebody within the tribe a little bit more than some stranger, because it's going to probably be known to you that guy's going to not be hanging around if he's fucked over enough people. So there's a little bit more trust.
If I've come to Nostr now, we're coming into some different crowds. There's people that are already there. There's people coming in from different genres all the time. And so I was selling to people that they didn't know who the fuck I was. From fuck all, like not even with it. Like I could say, oh yeah, I've been in the TSP community since 2013. What the fuck is a TSP?
I'd show up on the Telegram.
You've been in the teaspoon community. What the fuck is your problem?
And you'd say something maybe like, yeah, you know that Jack guy, and to be like, which one, Dorsey or Mahler? I'm like, no, the third Jack.
Yeah, here's the deal. I also understand that if they pay me and I don't send them their fucking shit, I'm going on blast on Nostr.
Right. Exactly.
And I don't want that.
There's accountability there.
Like what is that you're gonna I'm gonna take my $30 in Lightning and take off and burn a whole social media and like just never be able to use it again, because this thing's bigger. Like I sit and ponder what stage this is in, and like how you could compare it to something else that's grown exponentially. So like Bitcoin, are we in 2012 and a half right now?
So Bitcoin is what, about 14, 15 years old now?
11,
Lightning,
12,
yeah.
13. What was it, 2010?
Something like that. Yeah, I want to say about 14. I think about 14 years since it was originally the first white paper was put out, something like that.
Yeah. So Lightning, where are we in like 2012?
The first Lightning, the idea of Lightning itself. Now, what we see now with all the wallets and all the connections and all this super seamless shit now, where we're at now, they started figuring out how to make that happen. The very bones of it 5 years ago. Nostr just turned a year old.
Right.
And so as fast as tech as fast as tech moves, Nostr is 1/5 of the way along as Lightning is, which is 1/3 of the way along as that Bitcoin is. That's how ridiculously early this is. There's one guy, you go onto one of his nests and he just constantly, that's like their mantra of we're so early. Just always remember we are so early to this.
Well, yeah, and that's the thing is, and technology is expanding exponentially.
Spiral Crunch has got it down there 2008 for the white paper.
Yeah, I saw that.
January, Bitcoin started. Yep.
So you're looking at it and you're going, okay, a year in 2023 of development on something like Nostr is like 4 years of development on Bitcoin. From 2009 to 2013 is like, right. January to March.
Well, see, it's an interesting evolution too, because I almost like to see Nostr as so Lightning's a layer 2 solution, right? It's a way to efficiently move Bitcoin around. Nostr's almost its own layer 2 or a layer 3 solution that it's not on Bitcoin. It just equates so much and meshes so well with it, and the technologies are similar. So it's almost like, okay, we have a problem in that everything is centralized and clunky and hard, and Bitcoin sort of solved that problem from the monetary side. If you can fix the money in a system, the way that things move, that way that energy and value is moved from one place to the other, that facilitates a whole lot of other shit. We're seeing social media undergoing the same thing, revamped, but already kind of standing on the shoulders of giants in that it's powered by that. What's the hardest part? So you were just talking to some of the guys to do with an old social media project not too long ago, and what was one of the biggest hangups? Always money, right? Some missed payments, some things going on here and there. Nobody was really happy. We tried to outsource it and pay these cheap people overseas. This kind of shit goes on and it fucks everything up. Guess what? If money worked the way money was supposed to work and somebody was like, you did a great job, that feature is awesome, boom, here's some money for it. How much does that solve? Yeah, it's layer 2 on the web. Yeah, you're right. Exactly. It's layer 2 on TCP IP. Not even the web is a layer 2 on top of the protocols that we're using. This kind of happens independently, and we're just trying to find ways to make the old tech work with the new tech so we can understand it. But yeah, traditional web is centralized. So yeah, TCP IP is point to point and peer to peer. We just found a way to actually make those things work in a centralized way so we could host websites and things. Now
how crazy is it that we're circling back to like the beginning?
We have to. Because what we did and went down this path so long, just like with everything else in society and government and the food and everything becoming centralized, it gets to a point where it's inoperable or it's corrupt. So the only way is to go back to the basis of it. And there's nothing wrong with computers. There's nothing wrong with the internet and communicating from electronic device to electronic device. It's an efficient way for us to send information around. It's like the evolution of the book. But that happening from you to me, it's very different than me to big server that decides what gets shared to you.
So did we build did this whole Hydra build itself and reveal all the bullshit, and now we're breaking it down to zero and building it again with the knowledge of how it can get fucked up, and hopefully we can put in not safeguards, but safeguard against the same thing happening.
That's, I think, the idea of at least people right now, all the people who are developing
this shit really feels like the beginning to me back when, before AOL.
Both of us kind of grew up around the time when the internet was really coming into its own. Like when the birth of what we're experiencing now was like becoming a reality. Back when you could go make a GeoCities account and it was really cool to have the animated GIF of hamster dance and you felt like a badass, we're there where it comes to social media right now. Again.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Nostr, build back better.
Exactly. The real build back better. That needs to be a shirt. Nostr, the real build back better. Awesome.
Oh shit. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll have Facebook and all those just crumbling down in a pile with an ostrich standing on the top of it. It says Nostr, the real build back better.
Yes. That's fucking perfect. That is
roll it.
but it's so true. Now, like I said, right now, everybody who's involved with it and who is developing it, they may have different visions. They may have different ideas. They may disagree on some minor details, but everybody is of the mindset of what we've been doing didn't work, and we need to learn from the mistakes of the past and do it better. Now, I think we've probably seen that every time an empire has fallen, and it's dangerous because we're also, as things start to fall apart, we're going to see things try to fill that vacuum.
Yeah.
So it's on us to decide to say, no, we're not going to go there. I don't want to go use Blue Sky. I don't want to go use such and such whatever. I don't want you to build a new echo chamber for me.
Right.
I want to choose the freedom
of it.
And I want to be enough
of
a part of it. I want to be enough of a part of it to actually have a say when I start seeing things go awry, because somebody's going to come in and try to fuck it up. But that's the important thing. Right now, everybody who's really invested in it is going, we don't want to see centralization happen.
So we should probably wrap up because we're at 90 minutes and I keep my shit a little shorter. But anyway, the one thing that I gleaned from that conversation where I let off with that quote earlier, that I just spun out of nowhere. That was pretty weird when I dropped it on there, but I've been thinking about it for a long time. We've actually been going back and forth. Right. How do you describe Nostr in like 3 sentences or less? And I think I finally figured it out. But in that conversation, we were going back and forth. And to recap, I was talking to them. They were part of Float, and they were wondering if that community still desired a platform. And I was just saying, no, it's there. Build something that works on the Nostr protocol, and your crowd is there.
They'll put your efforts into improving Nostr and make a place within the Nostr network.
They were pushing back, and they were pushing back, and the money this and the money that. And I said, well, just as an example, Jack Dorsey dropped 10 mil into funding for Bitcoin development or Lightning development and Nostr development, 5 and 5. And it was just an example. I just happened to read it on there. I didn't even know the details of it. I was just like, hey, there's money there for people to develop shit. And he was like, you don't want anything to do with Jack Dorsey. He's this. And I looked at Josh and I sent it to Josh. I'm like, nobody owns fucking Nostr, dude. No. You're not getting the point. And that's when I ended up writing them that description and saying, you don't
understand what we're talking about.
Understanding what I'm talking about.
Because it's like being trapped in that fiat mindset. It's being trapped. We all spent so long in the old school social media that we think of things in a certain way. So many guys live their whole life stuck in a corporate system too. It's like, it's a whole mindset shift when you step out. So if you go from being in a corporate job to being an entrepreneur, or if you go from being in US dollars and stocks and bonds to being in Bitcoin, you have to be able to understand that your whole mindset and approach has to shift. You have to start seeing the world differently in the way that things works. Your brain changes to actually understand this new ecosystem. We're seeing that in Nostr. This isn't Twitter. This isn't Facebook. This isn't a centralized model. Oh, Golden Crickets wants that shirt. I think you froze. Maybe I froze. I think Brian froze. But anyway, that does have.
I'm back. There is a huge storm coming. I don't think I'll have internet for long. So
I got you. It's probably time to wrap up anyway.
All right, man. I appreciate you being on. I have all our information in the show notes. I'm going to get this up audio. Yeah, we'll get it up on Lightning for Liberty too.
Awesome. And, awesome.
I will. I'll check you later. I appreciate you coming on and talking about Nostr.
Hey, man. I've been doing a lot of it, so we'll holler at you later. We'll see you over there.
All right, man. We'll catch you later.
All right, later, bud.
All right. Thanks for Josh for stopping by and bullshitting about Nostr for here.